Hey, I'm sorry. I didn't see you there. We're a little busy. All right. By the way, welcome back to Two Nations Under Ted Lasso Podcast. This is the season 3 review. We threatened, nay, warned, nay, confessed that we may be eating on the season 3 rundown. Guess what? It's happening. I've got chicken kebab, as we talked about during previous episodes. Jay's got a big honking wrap up there.
I've got a doner kebab.
There you go. I may have just dropped a rice kernel on my keyboard, but it's going to be okay.
Oh, pop them keys off sharpish, otherwise that'll...
I've got one of those gaming keyboards, so every key is elevated, so it's not inside of the...
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Still need to get that out of there sharpish, otherwise
I know, right?
It just becomes part of the machine.
By the way, Tom Clark here with you as always for the last time, joined by Jay Luft and Joe Higgens, at least on this show, at least on this season of Ted Lasso. First off, at the gate, this food is delicious. Second, huge thank you to everybody who's followed along with us during the course of this entire show. It took us a little over a year to wrap it up. We have wrapped it up, and yeah, man, it's been awesome. I've thoroughly enjoyed myself. I'm sure these two guys have as well. And we're going to spend whatever time we're doing this here today celebrating season 3, stuffing our faces, as we said before. It's going to be great. Joe, kick us off to here today, my friend. What do you think?
I'm eating a chicken kebab, Roy's favourite, and I've paired that with a lovely Chardonnay.
Oh.
Not Roy's favorite. Keely's favorite, probably.
Yeah, you see, I thought I'd mix, two opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yes.
Season 3. I feel that season 3 is possibly is the best season, purely because by this point you're fully invested in the characters, even though this is what I'm saying about the whole Ted Lasso thing, is that even though the characters are ridiculous caricatures of actual people, it's the world of Premiership football, so I imagine they're not that far away from the truth, as we discovered with the Zlatan stuff. These people walk among us, well, not among us, but the thing is, in season 3, you're that invested in these characters and their trials and tribulations, to see the emotional heartbeats that go on in this season. For me, the jokes and everything are fine. That's what makes Ted Ted. But the stuff where it can punch you right in the stomach and you don't even realize, you don't see it coming, that happens in this season a lot. And I know it has to, because it's the last season, possibly. But it never feels like it drags you down. It's always, here's the bit, right, back up, but you've got to come back down again now. And I just think it's very well written, it's very well executed, and I mean, as the whole thing, as season 1, 2, and 3 together, this is the Holy Trinity.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't felt about a TV series since I watched Schitt's Creek. In the same way, as in, I think watching this has made me a better person.
Again, I can't disagree with that. I never got into Schitt's Creek. Well, I take that back. I watched a lot of the first season and howled on every episode, and at some point said, why did I stop watching? I never had a good reason why I stopped watching, so I need to go back again. How many well, as we're all trying to eat, so my apologies. How many seasons have they gone? Is it 3, 4? They've been on for a while.
It stopped. It had a beginning, middle, and end, and they stopped.
Nice.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing. I've had to move my keyboard, so typing's now weird.
Oh, by the way, if you guys have never checked out that travel show Eugene Levy has on Apple TV, it's fantastic.
Ooh. Oh, no, apparently there were 6 seasons.
Oh, wow.
I thought there was quite a lot.
It's very good. It genuinely, the first couple episodes are a bit finding its feet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But then when it knows what it is and what it's doing, it's a beautiful thing. God, there's 80 episodes. I did not realise that. I think it's because once we started watching it, we just burnt through it. But it might be due a rewatch. But it has that same that same jokes and ridiculous situations but also incredibly great moments of pathos that Ted Lasso does as well. And like the ending, I've almost cried as much as I did at the end of Ted.
Wow.
It because it's characters that you care about.
Yeah.
They're well written. They're rounded out. They're not. Ted has his everyone has their flaws. They're not presented as, and you see them go on this journey.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes it. That's what a story is. That's the Dan Harmon wheel of storytelling. Like
It is.
And this is why depending on how the next season of The Bear goes, possibly America's finest export of the past 10 years.
That's high praise, and it's a great show. It could very well be the next show we tackle, kids. I'm not saying, but it's possible. By the way, it's called The Reluctant Traveler on Apple. It is glorious because Eugene Levy hates to travel, hates doing everything they want him to do, but he's like, his demeanor is very much like this.
He does seem like a very nervous man.
Oh, it's like, well, if I have to, I'll do that, I suppose. And like he's out of his comfort zone. And a lot of the episodes are very touching, and touches him. He gets choked up quite a bit. Where he's like, I made friends with people in a country I may never go to again, and did things I may never do again. I'm like, this show's awesome. So Jay, to Joe's point, in terms of a show that connected with you as much as this one has, is there another one, or is this like the biggest one?
I think for me, this is the biggest one. The only thing I can think of is The Good Place, where I was just like hooked. I was in love with all the characters. I was invested in every character, and the last episode of that I was a mess, and I'll never recover from it. Pretty much like Ted Lasso. Yeah, I think to Joe's point, I think it's probably the best like US exports in the last 10 years. For me, probably since like the US Office.
Ooh.
If I had to think about one off the top of my head.
Yeah, I'll give you that. In terms of stuff that I put on for comfort. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And obviously it's like my other comfort show is like Scrubs, which I'll just put on in the background. It's the same guy who did Ted Lasso. So again, same sort of idea, I guess, just a more well-rounded story. Hopefully knew when enough was enough, but we'll see.
Well, that's the... I don't know. I tried. We tried rewatching Scrubs, and some of it hasn't aged particularly well.
No, I'm with you there.
Me being a Bernard Wright on, like.
No, I'm with you there. I think some of it's aged like milk.
But it has got John McGinley doing.
It has got John McGinley just being John McGinley.
Yeah.
More shows need John McGinley.
Just doing.
Just being
that's what he's like every day of his life. Like.
I feel like he's kind of like Matthew Perry, but more evil. That's like the vibe I get off John McGinley.
I'll give you that. Yeah.
He's snarkier Matthew Perry.
By the way, rest in peace, Matthew Perry.
Rest in peace, Matthew Perry. Indeed, big Fallout fan.
What a shame.
It's a crying shame he didn't get in the Fallout show.
What a loss. What a loss. Yeah. So, I've actually thought about this leading up to today. Is there another show? There's plenty of shows that have connected with me, but is there any that I can recall? And I'm older than both you guys, right? But so like I've got a little bit more viewing time, but I don't think there is anything that I would say this has flat out. You know, I grew up with Magnum PI and Simon and the A-Team, and you know those are my shows growing up as a kid. And of course, I was into science fiction, Battlestar Galactica, like the original, and all that stuff. All greatly weekly episodic villain of the week stuff, but never in terms of like an ongoing story that's serialized may be the wrong word, but you guys know what I mean. I think Ted might be it for me. I can't really think of anything on the top of my head that like that show gets me when I watch it, and I can laugh, I can cry, whatever. It's awesome.
That's the thing I'm saying is that like I don't think anything since possibly The American Office, or I mean even British wise, like Like something that I think it's because Ted, it's silly, but it's not stupid.
I think it's very, for what it is as well, it's very emotionally intelligent. Whereas
Yes.
like a lot of other shows I watch, which are like comedy shows, it's more cynical, like stuff like The Righteous Gemstones and It's Always Sunny, where it's the worst people ever, and you're laughing at them because I can't believe they've been such a piece of shit. Whereas with Ted, it's one really good person making, I wouldn't say necessarily pieces of shit, but like just people who genuinely need to be lifting them up and making them better people.
Yeah, no, it is. And I can't think of anything. I've never watched A Good Place, so I don't know. I might suggest that
Good Place is great.
Because we tried Twin Peaks, and God bless her, I don't think she was into it. So about 20 minutes in, she was like, "There's been no jokes yet," and I was like, "Twin Peaks isn't a comedy." It is objectively hilarious.
Did you tell Harvey it was a comedy?
No, I didn't say. I didn't say anything. But some of it is objectively hilarious because it's just like the random parping jazz at times and stuff like that. But it's David Lynch, so like you take that with it.
That response sounds like the response of a typical white guy where 5 minutes in the movie's like, when do the car crashes happen? Where's the girls with no tops? What's going on in this movie? You know what I mean?
It's Homer Simpson. So the police knew about it all the time. There's no police in this film. Oh, I got bored, so I'll make up my own films.
That's wonderful. Yeah. Yeah, well, you know what? As soon as we stop recording, I'll come up with some other examples. I make it sound like this is the only show I've ever enjoyed, which is not the case, but God, it's just, yeah.
It's something I think about a lot.
Yeah.
Like, not that it's affected me on like a personal level, but it is that thing of like, what would Ted do? Like, it's like the easiest option isn't always the one that's best for you and stuff like that. And Ted, it's about people having to make difficult choices. Ted has to make difficult choices for the people that he cares about at the mercy of his family. Like his whole relationship falls apart because of him doing Ted stuff across the Atlantic, helping other people become better versions of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's probably some kind of religious analog to all of this, but I don't want to get down that road. But he's just a simple coach, born of a mother. We never meet his dad. Could be like Jesus, just saying.
Hey, look, to your point, we did call the show Two Nations Under Ted. I'm just saying. So we've got it from the ground up, man, or from ground down, I guess I should say, whatever. I don't know. However, whatever religious path you want to take there. This is going to turn into a different kind of podcast if we're not careful. Yeah.
Righteous Gemstones, here we come, boys.
Well, to be fair, Righteous Gemstones or The Good Place both have big like religious connotations, but not in the way that you think.
Yeah, opposite ends of the spectrum, I believe. Yeah,
and you know what? I'm glad both of you guys mentioned gemstones because I think that was the first possibility we talked about for the show after this one. But like, because that would be my question. And we're on the air, we're going to figure this out. I don't know, but like like do we go from serious, insanely great storytelling, Emmy-winning drama, some of the best we've ever seen, to lighthearted fluff nonsense? And then maybe the third show, if we choose to do a third one, it's back to, and great stories. And I don't know. Maybe that's the seesaw of what we're going to do.
Righteous Gemstones is not lighthearted fluff.
Yeah. To be fair, Righteous Gemstones is like if True Detective was set in a mega church.
That's just, yeah. Lighthearted in the sense of this crap is never going to actually happen. But enough darkness where it's like, I can't believe they just... And then, like, you mentioned the emotional moments, like, of seriousness. When they do have those moments of being sincere, you're like, is this a gag? Is he really crying? To
your point, it does feel like it does make you more cynical.
Right.
Righteous Gemstones, yeah. It does make you feel like whenever anyone does an emotion, you're like, this is a work.
Yeah.
Righteous Gemstones also has, like, one of my favorite all-time TV show characters in Baby Billy.
Baby Billy is absolute Goggins, give him all the awards. Yeah.
Come give your Uncle Baby a kiss.
Come on now. Come on over here now. Come on.
So good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we could do that. I'd like to do The Good Place. I've never seen it, so I'd be going in with fresh eyes.
Good Place is excellent, but the very last episode is fucking like. Think all of the like really hard to watch scenes in Ted rolled into one, into like one 45-minute episode.
I don't think I'd like that.
I was a fucking wreck when I watched the last episode.
I have to get absolutely hammered so I don't feel anything. Yeah.
Sat crying away to myself watching it.
Oh, mate, don't. Like, I thought, what did I watch the other day? And I was just sat sobbing. I don't know. I must have just been. I think the Dark Nights are getting to me. I think my SAD's kicking in
Batman.
or something. No, I can't remember what it was. I think it was like an advert for them sponsor a donkey things. And I'm just, oh my God, he can't go up the stairs. And I'm just like, you need to get out.
Just sponsor carrots.
Get some vitamin D in you, boy. Like, yeah.
Well, put it this way, because it's network TV, that one would be a Hoss. 4 seasons. Let's see, 26.
What's that?
American seasons, so they're like 26 a season, aren't they?
40. 53 episodes total.
What's that? Gemstones?
No. Good Place.
Good Place. Yeah, fair. To be fair, like they are like 30-minute episodes. Not super long.
I mean, you could, if we did 2 at a time,
like
maybe.
24 American adverts.
Yeah.
I don't know because I watched it on Netflix. Let me find out.
It's not important. Yeah. I mean, there's also The Bear, which I think The Bear resonates with me a lot as well because it has. Yeah. It's very true to life, but has just ridiculous, real characters in it as well. This is not about Ted. We thought we were talking about Ted. Oh, this is there again. It's free and easy.
We're getting sidetracked, but we're also giving people an idea of what we're doing next.
Preview, sneak peek.
Free and easy night at the kebab house.
That's right. Well, I mean, look, to the point, there are 3 seasons so far, and there have been 28 episodes in 3 seasons.
Of Righteous Gemstones?
No. The
Bear.
Sorry. Jay's like, damn it, when are you going to do the Look it up.
I mean, I only watched the first season of Gemstones, but I loved it. Like, because everyone in it is horrible.
Yeah, exactly.
All
Except for
phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, because if you're doing that, like, because everyone at the end, apart from Rupert, everyone at the end of Ted ends up a better person. Whereas I think in Gemstones, they just get progressively more, like,
more
shady and corrupt as they go. Yeah. So he's like opposite ends of the karma spectrum.
Yeah.
Even Cartrick it was this big, had a moment of, this guy's a real person after all. This is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, but as Jay explained, like Cartrick is just one of those not agent provocateurs. What's the word for it?
He's one of those journeyman coaches who just like goes in to fix like a bad season. And he's only there usually for like the end of the season to bring the club a bit of stability, and then he gets sacked because he's had a bad start. Now he goes and does the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, even on the commentary, he's like a colour commentator. He'll just say whatever the opposite of everyone else is, just to seem like
he's a contrarian.
That's the word. Thank you. I couldn't think of it. I kept saying, I thought agent provocateur, but I don't know.
What was it? He was my towel boy. What are we talking about? He was nothing. He was a kid man. What do you mean? That was him. So, in order to circle back to the show, as you said, Joe, that's what we're doing here. I was thinking about this too going into today. And I want to get to the season 4 stuff shortly. This may be a hard question, probably for all 3 of us. Is there any character besides Ted, in your opinion, that when you watch this show, now that we've gone through all 3 seasons, that this show absolutely couldn't have lived without? Or is it that the answer to that is the whole cast because everyone is so great?
Because I'd probably say the whole cast, but like if we're going into like specific characters, I'd say Roy.
I'd say Roy and Beard.
Yeah. Roy's a Beard, yeah, of course, and Jamie to a degree as well.
Yeah,
and Nate.
Yeah, see,
I think
and Keeley,
and
Rebecca, and Higgins,
and Rupert, even Rupert.
Even Rupert.
To be fair, I think when you look at like the sort of team, because Roy's kind of like the first like nut Ted tries to crack. That's like why he becomes like such an integral character, because he's the first one that Ted wins over, and then obviously develops into being almost like Ted and Beard's like right hand man, and eventually Ted's successor. So I think in a way you like, as far as where the end game is in the show, Roy's probably in the sense of Richmond, Roy's probably the most important, because he's always like, since pretty much since the first episode, he's been like kind of groomed to be Ted's successor when Ted eventually leaves the club.
Would you say he has the biggest journey then?
I don't know, because I think in a way Jamie has the biggest journey, in the sense that he completely like 180s his character. But then you could also say Nate, because Nate basically does like a full circle, where he turns evil and then he comes back to being a good guy again.
But Roy goes from being like a grumpy curmudgeonly to being a nicer grumpy curmudgeon. But
I think with Roy, he's very much kind of like inspired to like, by the end anyway, he's very much inspired to do what Ted
I've tried to change myself and it's still not working. Yeah.
Because he can see where he's getting in his own way, where Ted and Beard have both been trying to tell Roy where he's getting in his own way. He's finally figured it out. He's just trying to get there. And a weird one as well, I think, in a way, Trent's quite a big character, because he's like the narrator almost.
Yeah.
Certainly in season 3, where he's basically writing the book, it's like he's like the sort of
fly on the wall.
He's the fly on the wall, but I think.
But then again, if you're doing that as well, you've got Sam. Sam has a tremendous story arc. Colin has a story arc. Danny kills a dog, threatens Zorro. Like this, like everyone has their moments in it. Like,
yeah, I think maybe some of like the lesser team members could.
Them ones that like put stuff in the bin and we never find out who they are.
Like,
but again, they're still there. Like,
I want more Jan Mass and Bumbercatch, because
I want Jan Mass and Bumbercatch to go and try and infiltrate Area 51 or something
just
like a Scooby-Doo mystery.
Just like a buddy cop movie of Jan Mass and Bumbercatch.
Yeah. Just going around the country solving crimes.
But they couldn't go undercover because Jan Mass would give them away every time. He'd just be honest with whoever stopped him. We're actually here to discover the aliens. Like, don't tell them that. Yeah.
I said, because I completely forgot Bumbercatch's weird turn in the 3rd season where he gets all birds aren't real. Like, but it's just fleshing out the characters that maybe when they did season 1, they were like, well, they're just going to be footballers and like we're going to have these 3 to be the main ones. And then because when they were just rehearsing it or whatever, they were like, oh, can we do bits? And they ran with it. I don't know. That's what I like to believe. And that's why we get the Danny Rojas and Zorro death match. Like,
well,
that's why Jan Mass becomes a person. Like,
they plant the seeds with Danny and Zorro in
yeah, they do.
The special, don't they? When they're doing like the shootout with the Nerf guns with the kids.
She will also have a beautiful sister.
You see how impossible that question was. That's the answer. I don't know that this show, first of all, should have lost anybody, and second, would it have worked without all the components working in unison?
No, it's a well-oiled machine. Everything, as we have said from day one of doing this, everything is there for a reason. There is no wasted motion in the show at all. What they show you is what they want you to see, and it's there for a reason. Yes, it's called Ted Lasso, but at the end of it, they're like the Richmond way. Because Ted is just the vessel, the conduit. To
be honest, from what we were talking about before, like when we were about halfway through and there was starting to be rumblings of season 4, and obviously there's a lot more smoke with that fire now, as we sit here today. But I think if there's anyone they could afford to leave out of a season 4, it's Ted.
Yeah.
Because they set that up in the final episode where Ted says, change the name, it was never about me.
He's back home, he's fine. He can phone up, like he can do a cameo bit, like Roy phones him, and Ted's, I don't know, in a Chuck E. Cheese or something. And Roy's just like, no, and hangs up. Like, he doesn't need to be there because he's given them the tools to Ted on their own.
Yeah.
I'd even dare say it could be slightly more serious with a new season.
How dare you?
I know. Well, obviously, because
Nate solve grisly murders in London's East End.
It's just Luther, but with Roy in like a dirty old coat.
Fuck!
Going mad.
It's another Tim Brass. Yeah.
Going mad and caving in a homeless man's head, and then going on the lam.
Oh no, I'd have him solving crimes, but he doesn't play by the book. And Nate's his chief. You're a loose cannon, Roy. I'm sorry.
No, that's it. The chief is screaming every episode. Yeah.
This is the what if of Ted Lasso.
Yes.
Speaking of good shows, we could cover Luther's a fucking shout. Have you not seen that?
Never watched it, man.
That's a brilliant show. It's very dark. It's very like it's like the polar opposite of Ted Lasso. It's like a cop show set in London with Idris Elba just being unhinged. It's fucking great.
Is he a robot though, like in Hobbs and Shaw? Because otherwise, I'm not.
No,
interested.
but he does.
I'm out.
Like go from being a like detective to a fucking criminal, and like throws his coat off a bridge and then goes all unhinged.
Oh,
Very good.
Damn.
That's it. You see, I was saying before about Homer Simpson. That's exactly me in films. Unless there's a robot kicking shit out of a city in about 30 minutes, I turn off.
They could. I've not seen the film. They could have introduced a robot.
Luther in a big Mechazord like that. That'd be great.
Pacific Rim.
Yeah. It says, or Atlantic Rim if you get the knockoff Asylum Films version.
The Atlantic Rim.
Yeah,
Great.
The point I was going to make there was like you could have obviously because Roy's like first like managerial job, it being more of a struggle for Roy and obviously a bit more serious in that sense. Obviously still antics and ahoy and all that, but I think it would need to take a slightly different tone if it's more focused on characters like Roy, Nate, and Beard.
Because you don't have Ted. Ted is the light of the thing, isn't it? Every time he comes in the room, there's Tedisms, there's wisecracking. Like,
I got one for you.
Go on.
Let's talk about season 4 because my head's going there now.
Okay.
It's almost like we're talking about. I don't care about it now. Let's just go about season 4. I'm not trying to do that. But
easy night in the kebab house. Come on.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Just because Ted went back to the States does not mean he retired.
Oh no.
So he could be coaching an American. I don't know about soccer. Or, you know what I mean? Football. Maybe an American. Maybe he's back in a college role. I don't know. But I mean, who's to say he retired?
I mean, to be fair, he could. One thing they could do, which would be fun, is if Ted's managing like an MLS team and they have a friendly against Richmond, and then it's like Ted returning to Richmond for like one game, absolutely wipes the floor with them or something.
No, Danny fires a gun at him. I don't. Again, it's that thing of It doesn't need to be called Ted Lasso.
Mm-hmm.
It should be the Richmond way. This is just me. But I don't need Ted in it. A cameo is fine. Like, hey. But Ted's story's done.
Yeah.
Ted's story's told. To be fair, like Rebecca's is. Like, they can probably do more with it about, But
I mean, I think one of the really cool things they did in the season finale, and it was all very like what if sort of things, was they did the whole Keeley pitching the women's team. They did
there you go.
They did Roy becoming the manager. There was so many like little offshoot things where it was like, well, you could go here instead of it being a Ted Lasso story. It could be like We were talking about Nate. Where does Nate go from here? Where he's just come back as a coach, manages the women's team.
Oh,
And then
I don't know about that. Unless he gets Disco in there as well.
Oh, you got to get Disco.
Just because it's a party doesn't mean he's there to party. I'm just saying.
Because my name is Disco doesn't mean I'm here to party.
I'm going to get that tattooed across my back.
So I love the idea of the girls' team, women's team, because I think that would be awesome. I don't know how it would play in your country, but in my country, it would be, well, there they go again, just, womanizing up stuff. We're horrible people here, in case you guys didn't know.
I mean,
I mean, there's
I guess in a way you are.
There's a lot of UK football pundits who complain that women are getting brought in as pundits, so,
Oh, yeah?
Wow. Oh, sadly, yeah. Which is funny, because it's always the shit pundits that are complaining that...
yeah, because they've done a massive job by knowing what they're talking about, innit? Like, it'd be like if I scam the career 20 years to talk about football, I know nothing about football, but I can go, oh, that were a good kick, and stuff like that. And then someone came along who actually knew and replaced me. I'd be like, oh, well, I've been rumbled, I got 20 years out of it, well done me.
The funny
she's
thing
got a
is...
ponytail, how can she know anything about it? David
The funny thing is, the women that usually replace the men are, like, 10 times more fucking successful, because they've actually won shit.
Yep. But obviously, women.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, we just did get our first NHL female head coach in this country. Like, it took this long. Like,
who's that for?
I don't know. I'm not an NHL guy. I just know. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, like in the men's game, I think there might have been one or two women coaches, like at much lower levels. Over here anyway, but I mean the England women's team won. It was either the European or the World Cup.
It was the European, I think. I don't do
the European.
And I watched it. It was pretty good, to be honest.
And
there's no rolling around the floor and that. Like, they get knocked over, they get up again.
They knock shit out of each other. It's great.
They do. It's great. It's like speedball. Yeah.
Yeah. But the coach, I can't remember her name. Like, she was getting linked with like jobs in the men's game, and like those guys getting really fucking offended by it. I was like, why? She's done more than half the fucking other dickheads who like managing the UK do. So why not?
That haunted owl. What was he called? That was England manager for a while.
Roy Hodgson.
Yeah.
Roy Hodgson.
Yeah.
Sorry. Roy Hodgson. Don't know why I said that.
He can't go near mice. They fear him.
That's
Staring
true.
down on him. Like,
yeah. Gareth Southgate with his head like an Easter Island totem.
Yeah. He did drive up sales of waistcoats amongst men who shouldn't wear waistcoats.
Yeah, he did. He did a lot of bad things for this country, to be fair.
By the way, Jessica Campbell, assistant head coach in the NHL for the Seattle Kraken. Just because I like to say, release the Kraken.
Release the Kraken. Yeah.
Saying.
If you've not heard Ninja Sex Party's song, Release the Kraken, I recommend you listen to it. It's great.
Mine's a Clash of the Titans reference. That's
I know. The city of Joppa will fall. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Brilliant film. Helen Mirren is in, not Helen Mirren. Maggie Smith is in that, looking about 90, even though she's 23 in it. Yeah.
And Harry Hamlin.
Yeah.
As Perseus, looking 50 when he's only like 19 or something. Yeah.
I think. Oh, do you reckon?
Yeah.
Ray Harryhausen sucking the life juice out of him.
I grew up with that.
That just reminds me. There's a great Twitter account which is 90s footballers who have aged poorly. and it literally shows like guys who look like they're in the 50s, and then it puts their age underneath. It's like 26. It's like, oh god, no.
What's that old wrestling thing, isn't it? Of like, here he is, gorgeous George Johnson, and it's a man who looks like a snow shovel's fallen on his face.
By the way, as we were talking about where it may or may not happen, this, as of 3 days ago, we're doxing when this episode was recorded, by the way, kids. So Steve Carell has a new HBO comedy series coming out, and joining the cast is one Mr. Phil Dunster, which could be why he was not announced for a season 4 of Ted Lasso.
Steve Carell will
Okay.
pay for his crimes.
Yes.
Yeah, he did The Office, and then everything else has been kind of.
Foxcatch is good,
I've not seen that. I tried to watch Space Force,
and I haven't seen
and
that.
for such a strong cast, I was like, "There's no jokes in this." It was
To
very
be fair,
very Twin Peaks.
Steve Carell did like a few like really good serious roles, and then forgot how to comedy. Like The Big Short, amazing as well.
Yeah. But now you said that, I am kind of like thinking, again, men's team, done. Like, do the women's team.
I think, to be fair, I think there will be like a lot of crossover, because there has to be, because you've got if it's the Richmond women's team, you're just gonna have people clamoring to see the older characters come back as well.
Yeah.
So I think you could do the crossover quite well. Obviously, as I say, like for me, the logical thing would be have Nate be the first manager, and it's Nate trying not to be like go back to his old ways of being a dickhead of a manager to
gobbing on mirrors, yeah,
and trying to be more like Ted.
But I was thinking, like, if they did it for women, how many, young girls would that inspire to go out and play football, and then we get, that's a good thing as well.
Get a couple of cameos from Jill Scott, and I'm trying to think of other women's footballers.
Oh, I don't know the names of men footballers. I've got less chance of knowing women's ones, isn't there? Erica Cantona? No.
Pass.
I mean, it's it's in the works.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
supposedly, yeah. Here's something. So, man, listen, Apple TV, we got you. Don't worry about it. We'll do it. So, if they do this this girls team, so how old was Rebecca's niece during the filming of? Because it's been 3 years. They start them off early.
I think she was supposed to be 14, 15. Sassy's kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have put her about 14, 15, because she's very into Sam and that. And I'm saying this like I know anything, but I would assume that's when you start getting interested in boys around then.
I thought she was like 12, 13 when she first come into it. So that was season 2.
Again, I don't. You ask me how old a child is, I couldn't tell you. Unless they can buy me a pint in a pub, I don't want to know them, to be honest.
They could also have the girl that Ted always like does the little bit of back and forth with in
the first season.
Few seasons. And does she? Did we get to the bottom of whether she returns in the last episode?
It's not her.
Is it not her?
I don't. I think we discovered it wasn't her. No.
Oh, we're talking about the girl that used to play with him in the street. That is her.
Yeah. Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
I thought she made like a little brief cameo in the last episode.
Oh, when everyone comes out, at the end.
Yeah, like that bit at the end of Avengers Endgame when the kid from Iron Man 3 is there and no one knows who the fuck he is because he's 18.
Yeah.
It's like, who the hell's that kid? I was like, oh, it's the kid from Iron Man 3. Why is he at Tony Stark's secret funeral?
Secret funeral? Because they told him.
Gave him a watch.
Who knows who that kid is other than Tony Stark?
Yeah, it'd be difficult that getting through security, wouldn't it? But yeah,
not like Happy Hogan's been told by fucking Tony Stark. Oh, by the way, there's some kid there who saved me in like some little hick town that I went to. He helped me build new armor.
I think Hogan phones him. I don't want to get into it.
Iron Man 3 is a fucking dreadful film. We don't need to talk about Iron Man 3.
You don't like it? Man, I completely vehemently disagree. I think Iron Man 3 is quite enjoyable.
It's better than 2.
Yeah, it's a Christmas movie. Come on now.
I mean, it is better than 2, but that's not hard.
I need bird. Give me bird.
To be fair,
that was Mickey Rourke riding high off the back of the wrestler, demanding stupid things.
Bird.
But Iron Man doesn't even do Iron Man stuff in Iron Man 2. He just mucks about for ages. It's rubbish. At least three's got.
That's most of Robert Downey Jr. being Iron Man. To be fair,
Yeah, I know, but
it's
like
Robert Downey Jr., Tony Stark, and then he goes, right, I better put the suits on now, guys.
It's my argument with the last Christopher Nolan Batman film where Batman's only in it twice, and the rest of it is Bruce Wayne, and I'm like, I'm paid to watch Batman. And as soon as Batman gets a plane, I'm out as well, mate.
That last movie's got a lot of problems. That last Batman movie.
It's not fight. It's not fair. It's not a fair fight. If you've got a plane, a car's all right, like because anyone can nick a car. But if you've got a plane and you're hunting people down, that's not on. Sort it out, billionaires.
Yeah, well, Bruce Wayne and Tony Stark, right? Kiki May is the actress, by the way. And very little I can find about her other than Ted Lasso, and she did something in 2021 as well. The Electric Life of Louis Wayne in 2021, and The Great in 2020.
No idea.
I don't know. I was just thinking in my head of how do we piece around to make it work. But if Jamie's not, well, as characters are not possibly returning for this season 4, that gives the opportunity for characters that we already know to get a bigger screen time, or the introduction of new characters we've never met before, which could also be fun.
I think like the way they can explain away that Jamie's not there is what they did in the final episode. Oh no, sorry, the next to last episode with Pep Guardiola, sort of like having a little chat with Jamie, and it was like, all right, well, Jamie's probably getting signed back to City.
Yeah,
but will Pep Guardiola there because City are playing shit at the moment?
I'm just saying.
Question.
Yes.
Would Richmond as a Premiership team, would they like just buy women players, or would they like audition them? I don't know how football works.
Audition, I like that word.
It would
you kick balls at them and you go head it, and if they do, right, you're on through to the next round.
So the way usually, like when a club's starting from scratch, like this is my limited experience with stuff like obviously MLS clubs and things like that.
Yeah,
is it'll be a mixture of like experienced players whose contracts have expired, buying in like more experienced players as well, and then maybe signing free agents or like younger like prospect players.
Right.
And then they probably, if they were doing it like an academy setup, they'd probably like then be looking to sign like kids from as young as 9 and like to go into the academy and then work the way up through the teenage years.
From 9, you say?
Yeah.
Ted Lasso, season 12. Phoebe becomes the head coach of the Richmond women's team.
Yes.
Phoebe could join the Richmond women's team.
That's where I was going with it. When you said Sassy's kid, I was like, well, Phoebe's better than Sassy's kid.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love nothing more than for a season 4 to happen and for us to be 2 or 3 episodes into season 4 messaging each other on Facebook saying, this show is effing amazing. God, they've done it again. You know what I mean?
Those sons of bitches.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. If there is a season 4, how are we going to do it? Are we going to like do it as it comes out, or are we going to wait till the season ends and then just do it like we've done here?
I think you do it week on week when it's fresh, isn't it? Because then there's no spoilers ahead. There's no.
Yeah. True. We're going as blind as everybody else.
Yeah. And then you've got to be super on your eyes.
Right, because we've got to be really smart.
Yeah, and all this, oh no, then the whole illusion, the whole peek behind. Don't look at the man behind the curtain. Like,
I think a lot of the time when we're like watching it, we know what's coming, so we know what to be looking for.
Yeah.
Whereas this time, it's like, what the fuck are we doing here?
Yeah. See,
I like that.
A whole different ball game. Yeah,
it'd be a much different season.
It'll be football.
Nope, they're gonna abandon it.
It's gonna be
croquet.
tennis.
Croquet.
Tennis lasso.
I mean, look, even if they put together a writer's room, let's say best case scenario writer's room in January. I mean, we're still looking at.
Sounds what it's going to be, doesn't it?
I mean, I'm just.
Yeah,
at least.
Oh yeah,
January
I
of the following year. Yeah.
12 episodes minimum.
Yeah.
They're going to be, 40 minutes again? Maybe longer ones. Yeah, you got to pad that out. You got to film them, edit it. It's it's going to be at least a year.
And then you have to worry about the show being canceled because Apple has been known to do that.
All the streaming platforms are doing that because
It's true.
they have no confidence in their products.
No.
Yeah. Well,
Looking at you, Netflix and Cowboy Bebop.
Yes. Bastards.
I really enjoyed that.
I did too.
Yeah. I got 3 episodes in and I got a thing. It's been cancelled. I was like, well, I'm not going to bother with the rest then. What's the point?
Well, and the cast was gutted when it was canceled. Like every cast member took to social media and said, "Oh, worst day ever." Like they all genuinely enjoyed doing that show.
Lord, they were having a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Such a shame.
It's like Firefly all over again, but none of them have turned out to be mad racists.
Apparently, Ted Lasso season 4 is going to start production in January.
Yeah. Yeah.
According to a news thing I've just seen there. I don't know if it's a reputable source, but
no.
That's the thing is like when you're Googling it. Yeah, that's the hard part right now.
Yeah. Who's Matt Baloney? He's the person who's
Matt Baloney. He invented bologna.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. His brother with Jimmy Corned Beef.
That's what I thought.
Alan Haslett.
And they're all fans of West Ham.
Alan Haslett.
Nothing? Come on. I didn't get it. Oh, come on.
Jesus Christ.
I'm just saying.
You're doing like proper sandwich meats. I'm doing Haslett, which is
that's what I did.
Sandwich meat.
Haslett is the worst sandwich meat.
I have no idea what that even is.
Oh, you don't want to know.
It looks like a Band-Aid that's been like stuck to like underneath a fucking till or something in the shop for a while.
Yeah, it looks like if someone took pate and beef and then dipped it into that stuff that made the Joker weird and then put it on a sandwich. Yeah.
The stuff that made the stuff that made the Joker weird. I've never heard it put that way.
It looks diseased.
It's not right. It's not nice.
No.
Be thankful you don't get it, but you get bologna, which is his own problem anyway.
Yeah.
Full of nitrates. Oh, I might have that other kebab, lads.
I just realized that Jay and I are both looking stuff up at the.
Developed a taste for
it. I developed a taste for it. Yeah, so I've just seen that there is multiple.
Yeah, but they could all be sourcing the same fake sauce. That's the rub, isn't it? Like...
Okay, AOL.com, most reputable source I could find. Mm-hmm. Yes, there's an AOL.com. Who knew? Deadline. Well, they got it from Deadline because everybody's got a source. Deadline reports.
I saw Tech Radar reporting it.
Jeez.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Home and Garden Weekly reported that Ted Lasso. Yeah. Deadline reports that Warner Brothers Television renewed the contracts of several key cast members. Per the outlet, WB first picked up options for Hannah Waddingham, Brett Goldstein, Jeremy Swift, all of whom have contracts under UK Actors Guild Equity. The contracts for SAG-AFTRA actors have expired, but the WB is reportedly in talks to make new deals with Jason Sudeikis, Brendan Hunt, and Juno Temple. So there you go. Series co-creator Bill Lawrence recently shared that the future of Ted Lasso is entirely in the hands of writer and star Sudeikis. Quote, not only is he the star, he's the head writer, and he's also the dude whose life just has to be completely overhauled and moved to a foreign country with young children. End quote. Lawrence 55 shared with Collider. Whatever Jason feels like doing, whatever his decision is, we're all down with it. Nick Muhammad, who played assistant coach Nate Shelley, told Us Weekly in 2023, this is a year ago, he would love to work with the cast again, calling the group a family. But he was torn about the idea of spinoffs or new seasons and warned that they wouldn't live up to the previous seasons. Same.
That's it. Yeah, that's my fear.
Yeah.
Kola Bikini announced that he would love to return as Isaac McAdoo. He said we created something special in the years to come. People are going to realize that it's because it's going to marinate. It's going to realize that because it's going to marinate. Boy, he said that right. It's marinated. Yeah.
You know what they should do, and I feel like Joe, you'll probably agree with me this. I don't know if you've seen the film, Tom, but I think you'll enjoy it if you haven't. They should just remake Meme Machine with Roy Kent and Isaac McAdoo.
I don't think I know that. I know the Mean Machine from the Longest Yard movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a British remake of the Longest Yard called Meme Machine with Vinnie Jones as the footballer who like Burt Reynolds plays, and or Adam Sandler if you want to talk about the remake, the remake, and also Jason Statham's like in it in like a really random bit character part. Well, not big character part. He's like quite a big character in it, but it's a really good film. It's genuinely a really good film.
There you go. That's one for
that's 6M.
That's one for 6M. Yeah,
I'll do it. I'll do it. Let's do it. Yeah, they it's Sudeikis, by the way.
I'm not doing a live watch along of it because nothing happens for a lot of the film.
Sudeikis is we just had his name. What were Jason Statham at any point roundhouse or scissor kicking anybody?
No.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
He's the goalkeeper, and he's basically a goalkeeper who's like a monk who's like a murder monk, and he's like he doesn't speak. He just like kicks people and like headbutts them.
Playing to his strengths.
Yeah.
As an actor.
Any film with Jason Statham in where he doesn't speak. Oh, Crank 2 is fantastic.
Crank 1 and 2. Have you done them on 6M? Because they're like Crank's like 40 minutes long.
Crank 2 is like a fever dream.
No, but like the first Crank is like a prolonged advert for Red Bull.
It is.
We should just do the films of Jason Statham.
We should do like a series of Statham, but then it involves watching Jason Statham films. So who's the real winner there?
Mate, I've spent the last 4 years, it turns out, watching Hallmark films. My life is worthless at this point.
What's the Meg like? Is that worth watching?
The Meg's fun.
That's Jason Statham versus Shark, isn't it?
No, it's a megalodon. It's not a shark.
It's a big shark.
Otherwise, it would just be called Shark, wouldn't it?
And he roundhouse kicks
Jaws.
I think he gets swallowed by it, and then like Jonah roundhouse kicks it from the inside out.
Yeah, he's got to kick his way out.
What we're saying is Jason Statham is just like Cockney Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Cockney Steven Seagal, but come on now, Steven Seagal is a fucking lunatic.
Cockney Chuck Norris.
I watched a new Steven Seagal film the other day. He doesn't stand up throughout the entire film. He has a fight in an office chair. Like his body has turned to like blancmange. It's tremendous.
Blancmange.
Yeah. Also, he needs to stop on the Just for Men because I think it soaked into his brain and is slowly killing him. Because no man's beard is that dark.
Have you listened to the Behind the Bastards on Steven Seagal?
No, but I have listened to Tales from the Crystal Cavern, his jazz album that he did.
Oh God,
it's eye-opening how many lies that man has told.
Oh. Have you not seen his Aikido thing he did recently? Where lads run at him and throw themselves on the floor and he goes, 20 seconds afterwards. Like, the man is mostly, at this point, melted cheese. Like, it's just, his blood type is free. Yeah.
And plus, when you can't hear him either because he just...
Steve, like, Under Siege is brilliant. I'll find anyone.
Under Siege 1 and 2 are both fantastic films.
Yes.
There's a movie made with DMX, by the way.
I have no idea.
There's a movie made with DMX. It's not bad. Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway.
Oh, that's right. Ted Lasso.
No, I was going to say Jason Statham, is Jean-Claude Van Damme, purely because at the moment I'm trying to find a 3D model of the stealth boat from Street Fighter, the movie, to print out to give to someone as a gift, because it's like his favorite movie. So I was going to present him with a solid gold.
What you're saying is, Joe, they should remake the Street Fighter movie with Jason Statham as Guile.
It wouldn't be worse than having a
It wouldn't be
Belgian
worse.
man be American. If you haven't, I'm not to not to cross pollinate, but if you haven't, Hallmark of Greatness did cover Street Fighter a long time back, and it is a cocaine fever dream, that film.
I mean, literally, like every Arnold Schwarzenegger film where he's meant to be American, but he's still got an Austrian accent.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
apart from like Hercules in New York, where they dubbed his voice over. But yeah.
I've seen too many Hercules movies with you, Joe. I can't do another.
One's enough.
One's enough.
But yeah, it's apparently like a quarter of the film's budget they paid to get Jean-Claude Van Damme in Street Fighter, and they had Raul Julia in there, dying of stomach cancer, chewing the scenery, like having the best time, and I couldn't find any information about how much he was paid. But Jean-Claude Van Damme was on. I think it was like $10,000 a week he was spending on gear. Yeah,
he was.
He also trapped
a bit.
Raul
Julia, wasn't he? Because it was like he only did the film because he knew it was like going to be his last big payday.
Oh wow, shame.
But also, Jean-Claude Van Damme trapped Kylie Minogue in his room for 3 days. We don't know what happened in there. Listen to the episode to find out more. Yeah.
Jesus,
I assume he was just doing cocaine-fueled like splits between two kitchen counters. Like, I don't know.
Maybe Derek from Taste of Athens showed up and hung out with him.
He was his dealer. Well, they hired a guy to keep him off the gear, and the guy was just supplying him.
Oh my God!
Yeah, like, it was. Did you? Is it Opposites Day? But yeah,
it was the 90s, mate. It was a different time.
Yeah.
Well, look, I'm not trying to go back to this because it's the only point.
No.
I love the idea of an all women's team, could, in terms of a season 4, you could do it 50-50. You could show the women's team, you could show the men's team. It wouldn't have to solely be, because we spent 3 years on that locker room with that team and those players. And now you could just cut back and forth. Do you know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't have to be. And then maybe at the end of the season, you're leading up to, the women are playing an important match and the next day the men are. It's like a big to-do for the season finale. I don't know.
I mean, that's usually how it works in like football anyway. It's like the men's team will play one day and the women's will play the other. Just depending on when they're playing.
There's a thing like Nate has a good idea where he's like, well, why don't I pair up the women with their equal part on the men's team, sort of stuff. That could be hilarity. Like,
yeah.
Rashad managed to just seduce everyone,
I mean, obviously, there's like the whole like thing as well. Like, to go back to the idea of if Nate were to be managing the women's team, there could be like a friendly competition between him and Roy about who's being more successful in their role.
These are all ideas, Sudeikis, if you're listening.
Yeah,
that's right. We got you.
We just want to come and meet Roy Kent.
If you want to have not high pitched Brett Goldstein, I want him to like sound like he smoked every cigarette there ever was.
Yes.
And also, if they want to give us cameos in it, that'd be great.
I'm up for that.
Just literally us, like Baz, Jeremy, and Paul, like arriving in the pub, and us sitting there in their seat where they'd normally be sat, and they'll be like, "The fuck are you doing there?"
Yep.
And kicking us out.
Yeah, we're like, oh, grabbing the drinks, like, trying to get out of the way.
Well, I'm gonna have my beer in the boot because I paid extra.
Well, look, Baz, Paul, and Jeremy. Is it possible they get more of a? I mean, you would think of the three of them, Paul would be the most apt to actually become somebody in terms of helping a club or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but like, be interested to see.
It'd be interesting if they do like obviously because like the way when we spoke about it in the last episode where you get kind of like a fans association chair who'll go and talk to the club. You could have those three as like the sort of the fans representatives to the club and just doing silly shit in the boardroom with Rebecca.
Get Mr. Man in there.
Oh, and Mr. Man.
Mr. Man.
Just calling them all wankers.
Okay,
Why
look.
Hey,
Wanker. Don't fuck up this weekend.
Get May. No, because then you get May in there because May got a stack of shares, didn't she?
Yeah.
May has to be there. Yeah.
May's the wise, May's your spirit guide, isn't she? Throughout
Any time they can give Annette Badland the payday is okay with me because she's great.
Yeah.
And we could
National
possibly,
treasure.
we could possibly see Dr. Sharon Moore.
I'd be okay with that.
Well,
she
she's
has a job
full-time
with the
staff
team.
now, isn't she?
She's full time at the club, isn't she?
She is.
And she's helping Roy.
Yep. I kind of feel like as much as we got Colin's story, I'm up for more of Colin. I kind of feel like there was no real redemption for Colin became a better person and quit bullying Nate, of course.
He got what he wanted, which is
he got what he wanted. Yeah, he is not a piece of shit.
He's not a piece of shit or a cowboy. He got what he wanted, which was to kiss his boyfriend on the pitch in front of all the fans.
True.
But
if anything, Colin got the resolution that he wanted.
But I know it's not what he wanted. He doesn't want to be a figurehead, doesn't want to be a leader. But have you ever known a Premiership footballer kiss there? Like he could then end up getting spearheaded into this campaign for like.
Oh, yeah, he absolutely would have.
And he didn't want that. Like he told Thingy, he didn't want that when they were in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
So
he just wants to live his life.
There's stuff there of him. I'm not proud of it. I don't want to be that. You know what I mean? It depends. Like I said, there's nothing concrete. We're not gonna know. All this is fantasy booking, isn't it?
I'd like to see if they do bring Trent back, maybe like have him like writing a follow-up book of the creation of the women's team.
Is that too on the nose, you think?
No, I don't think so. Like if at the end of the day, like what the way they could do it is say, obviously, based on how well is the Richmond Way was received, Rebecca just kind of approaches him and says, "Look, we're doing this. Do you want to kind of document it?"
Or the publishing house goes, "Do you want to do a follow up to it?" And then he approaches Rebecca and is
I just want them to bring Trent back, really, because
Trent is great.
He's one of my favorite characters.
And by the way, Joe, I think you mentioned Sam earlier. Are we to take that pic of Sam and the Nigerian team to mean that was an international break photo, or does that mean he is in Nigeria now?
That was an international.
That was an international break.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was he was wearing it the international. It was an international friendly probably.
Well done.
Well, it could have been the African Cup of Nations, which would have been a cool little side quest episode for Sam.
Because I do feel like there's more to be told.
In the background, just shaking his face.
If we got a spin-off of just Edwin Akufu trying to like monopolize things,
and just Edwin Akufu ruining Sam's day, just everywhere he goes, like he's just in front of him, and he breaks the McDonald's milkshake machine.
I want Edwin Akufu to be like fucking Dick Dastardly, like trying to ruin Sam's day and it never going wrong. And the end of the episode, like Edwin Akufu, like no.
Sam just Mr. Magoo's his way through it because he's such an upbeat, fun guy.
Yes,
like,
yes.
Hits him. Like, yeah.
I hate you, Sam Abisanya.
Yeah.
Hey, if nothing else, we need more Ola, his father. We need more Ola.
Yeah. This is the thing.
To be honest,
do they need to retread old ground?
You're right.
Just remake the bear, but with Sam and Ola in Ola's.
Love it. Are you kidding me?
I do want more of Sam's dad. He's another really good like side character that you just brought in for like that one shot. And I was like, why are we not using him more? He's great.
Because you don't need it. It's a one and done. It's a one and done. He's there. It's like
Edwin Akufu when he came back. I was fucking overjoyed.
Oh, yeah. But you're not going to tell him that there's a difference. Because you can come in and be more evil now. I'm going to dress you like Willy Wonka, and you can throw hot dogs at people.
Chicago hot dogs.
This is a dumb question. More Danny Rojas, of course. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Gotta have Danny.
Danny Rojas gets caught up in a multi-level marketing scam, and he has to now sell protein powder to all his teammates.
Well, I mean, it'll be fun. Yeah.
Because the ghost of the dog he killed visits him at night and tells him he must.
That poor dog, man. That dog didn't stand a chance. I'm telling you right now.
Didn't.
Yeah.
Didn't.
Well, I don't want to cut this early before we want to cut it early.
No. I mean, like...
But I also don't...
Yeah. Probably spent 20 minutes talking about actually Ted Lasso. And the
rest right?
was about Mean Machine and what we're doing next.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, this is like kind of like pulling back the curtain of what before and after we record is like.
Yeah, even with the
we
food.
Just started eating kebabs. We've been getting sidetracked about all kinds. We actually spoke about Ted Lasso for about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Spoke about the potential season 4, which we do every week before we record.
That's true. And to your point of peeling back the curtain, which I'm glad you've officially announced that because we never really talked about it. For the first time in all 3 seasons, I'm not hungry as we're doing the show. So it only took us 14 months to get here. So
I ate too much food, if anything.
I may have ate too much.
My actual tea, and then I've just banged a kebab on top of that. So when I'm in my grave, just come and point and laugh. Because it probably wasn't your fault.
Well, it would be not great if it was our fault. Point and laugh. Yeah.
No, it's fine. I'm dead. Why do I care? Put balloons.
So I think in terms of pulling back the curtain. So we first started this, and I won't take full credit, but I'm gonna take full credit. Well, not unofficially, because
all the hard work.
No, not like that. But like, I'm joking about the other 2. But like in the beginning, I just finished watching the show, I think, and I was bubbling like a kid, happy, and just profoundly happy and excited. And I messaged Jay just out of the blue, and we could probably find it if we scroll back far enough. But I'm like thinking about a new podcast. Any chance that you like Ted Lasso? And Jay's like, fucking love Ted Lasso. And I'm like, really? I got so excited, which led to us, which by the way, Jay, to that point, you may have done one without me anyway, because you had to talk about it. I don't know. But if I had done one without you 2 guys, it wouldn't have been the same, of course. I can say that. But I know that, Jay, you brought Joe to us.
Well, when season 3 was happening, me and Joe were pretty much texting every week about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I need to. When me and you had that first conversation, I was like, I know just the guy who'd like make the perfect like 3rd person for this.
You literally texted me and went, Tom wants to do a Ted Lasso thing. And I was like, yes. Yeah. I need to talk about this with people who understand it as much as I do. Or as I think I do. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Same. Yeah.
Again, I know some of them go a bit long, but there's everything's there for. It's just appreciating. It's also appreciating the sheer beauty of the show. Like, yeah, we get sidetracked in that and whatever, but there's so much in there. There's so many little callbacks or seeds being sown for one of us forgets about and someone reminds them, and it's genuinely been a tremendous experience working with you 2 lads on this. Like, genuinely, I've found, like, you've told me things in this that I wouldn't have picked up, especially a lot of the football stuff, Jay, because I don't know, and all the American references, I don't know. Like, I kind of feel like I just show up and just talk nonsense for my share of it.
You got a lot of like the old like film and musical references though.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Like, I'm, you know,
we all played our part.
I was going to say each is a component. Yeah.
Yes.
Like making a great stew, you have to have the right ingredients, right?
Yeah.
Or the right kebab. You have to have the right.
I've got some old pasta water on the stove.
Jar of peanut butter with no lid. Yeah.
I haven't got any peanut butter. I was going to have a peanut jar, but I haven't got any in. But the other one I've got is like a kilo one, and I'm not wiggling that around because that's how you get.
I gotta be honest with you, dipping my. I'm more sanitary than I just am. I'm like, no, I'll use a spoon. I'm not going to use my finger.
Nah, it's just you in the house. It's fine, isn't it? Like,
I guess it's still weird. I don't know.
But no, yes, this has been a tremendous, lovely experience. It's given me a new found level of appreciation for Ted Lasso by having stuff explained to me that I would never have understood in a million years. Because
same. And look, to your point about the episodes being longer, like crazy long. As we walk away from this, at least for now, I don't feel like I left anything behind.
No.
I feel like I said everything I wanted to say. We covered it. We could go back and do it again and cover the same and maybe come up with new, but I feel like we hit it all.
I was going to say, I feel like we'd go back and watch it and we'd discover more stuff that we missed the first two times around, because there's that many little like hidden details, and there was stuff even like that we weren't really looking for until halfway through the show.
Stuff.
The book stuff, the whole whenever they were in Manchester, they had a blue moon, which we didn't pay attention to, other than like Beard's the City game and Beard's night out. After like before that, there was an episode with City, in which probably had a blue moon as well. But yeah, there's that much little things, isn't there, that we could probably go back and go, fucking hell, missed that. Yeah,
but again, that's for you to go out there, watch it, discover it for yourself, listen to what we've done, point out to us what we missed, because we're idiots. Like I said, I thought we did a fairly comprehensive job.
I think we did a great job.
Yeah, like no one's going to get them all,
No.
Unless there's some Ted Lasso watching robot out there with 1,000 frame-a-second eyes, and he can spot everything that's in there. And even then, he won't get the jokes because he's a robot. They don't understand humor.
That's true, until he program one too, and then we're fucked.
Yeah.
Well, if it's based on Elon Musk's jokes, then I think we're safe for a while.
No, it'll just be like the Spielberg film AI, which was very bleak and terrible.
Yes, it was.
That's that little fat face kid, isn't it? Yeah.
Much like what AI could actually become. Well, look, I've said this before on other shows, and we all three have other shows, but like people can watch what they want. They can enjoy what they want. And if people like that bombastic host who speaks in absolutes and says things like, this is the fact, this is how it is, blah, 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 that's fine. You're welcome to watch what you want. I don't specifically enjoy shows like that. I enjoy common sense. I enjoy conversational. I don't enjoy this guy's an expert, and if I don't listen to him, then I'm doing it wrong. I don't like that. I like, here's an opinion. Here's a viewpoint. That's what I enjoy. That's the kind of podcast host I want to be. And that's who I want to podcast with. So to Joe's point earlier, like if anybody listens to this and feels like we missed it, you're free to you're welcome to believe that. But at no point, I think, did we ever look at the audience and say, we've nailed it. No, I think we did the best we could.
Yeah. There's so much stuff there.
Yeah.
And how many times as well have we been discussing a point and I've had the wrong end of the stick entirely? Like, I thought it was one thing, and then you've gone, well, no, I read it this way, and then
all had that.
It's that's why it's good writing.
Yeah,
because it's all kind of how you perceive it.
It's all subjective. And Joe, I think we could today pin that medal on Jay, because I think Jay had more moments of this show of making you and me go, "Oh my God!"
Yeah,
like we never thought about
it. Yeah,
so good.
I said anchor.
So good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, kids, that may do it for us, at least for now. We've got an hour and some change here.
I was going to say, before we do wrap up, what's everyone's favorite joke from the show?
Oh.
Because there's one that There's one that's kept coming. It's not so much of a joke; it's more of a scene. But there's one that kept coming to my head all day today when I was thinking about this.
What is it?
And it's Ted's team talk before the Wolves game, where he can't get his head round Wolverhampton Wanderers, so he keeps calling them they're the Wandering Wolves, and Roy's in the background going no.
Yeah.
And it's just one of my absolute favorite scenes in the entire show.
On the same level as the Sheffield Wednesday thing is proper to Ronnie's sort of like just wordplay sort of stuff. I think for me, as I've said before, I think my favourite joke in it is, "It's all right, I'll take care of it. I know the owner of the Sun. You know God."
Yeah. That's a great one.
Just because it's the first time Ted does a big joke, like, and we get later on ones, but I just think it's just that, because like Rebecca just looks at him with just like, oh fuck, yeah. It's just a tremendous bit.
They gonna take his house? I love that one too.
Yes, yeah. All the big Ted act outs, I think, are my favorite bits.
I was gonna say there's that scene where I think it's literally like in like the second or third episode, where it's like where Higgins makes the first joke that Ted loves, and Ted like has walked out the door, and he just bursts in and goes, "That was a good one."
Yeah.
Everyone like,
"Whoa, what the hell?" Isn't it? Yeah.
Scares the crap out of everybody. Yeah. I think for me, it's him going back and forth with Zorro's name. He's like, Zorro, and then him looking at a beard going, "I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. I don't know why that." I love that so much. And then also for me, Nate going, "Oh my God," whenever something scary happens. And then the Lavender episode, when he scoots his chair all the way back and goes to Ted and says, "Wait till you hear this shit." I'll never forget that. It's awesome. God, I love that so much. Straight faced.
None of these bits are like technically jokes. They're just
they're just funny things.
They're act outs. They're bits. Like it's just, it's so tremendously good. It
is.
So many. Again, Roy throwing a bike at Jamie in Amsterdam. Yeah. Like just that image of him in the moonlight near a canal, just yeeting a bike. That's not going to help anyone.
That's not helpful, yeah.
It's just a beautiful show. Like McAdoo said, it did well at the time. Like it grew and grew season on season. But I think this will be one of those things that people come back and go, "This is how you do it."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If we only get 3 seasons, I think it stands up there as one of the best TV shows ever made, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And kids, on that note, this may be the last time you see the 3 of us with this background and that logo. Because if suddenly tomorrow season 4 falls through, or Sudeikis says, "I don't want to do it," and they decide to stop, that'll be it. It won't be it for the 3 of us, but it'll be it for us on what you have come to know as Two Nations Under Ted Lasso Podcast. Well, look, this is too big to do. It could take each one of us an hour, but if biggest series takeaways, we've probably already said all of it that we all think roundabout. I mean, Joe, impossible to tackle maybe, but highlight it for me. What is it you take away from this? How about this? You talked about how important this is for you. Versus other shows that you grew up with, shows that you enjoy now. Why this one? What is it? Do you know specifically why this one?
Because I think I sort of referenced it earlier at the start. It's that sometimes you have to put other people in front of your own personal needs. I'm incredible. My wife points out to me that I'm incredibly guilty of this all the time. It's a thing of I can't let people down. I have to do what I'm supposed to do, and that's the Ted thing, and that's what gets Ted in the end. Is that he does too much. It cripples him essentially, and I that kind of resonates a lot with me. And I am trying to get there with it and stuff, but also it's just very fun and it's very heartwarming and it's very genuine. And as we said earlier, a lot of modern television is very cynical and very laughing at itself, whereas this it genuinely feels like a breath of fresh air. I haven't felt this way since I watched Schitt's Creek, like in terms of just genuine people that I grew to know and care about and love and want them to do well. And I think that's why I see a lot of myself in Ted. And the fact is that when serious things are happening, I'll be stood there trying to do jokes because I can't deal with things, so I push it off. And I think that's why this resonates with me more than most other things I watch.
That's the referencing Matthew Perry again. That's the Chandler Bing from Friends, where whenever it gets uncomfortable or he gets nervous, he gets scared, he automatically defaults to telling jokes. He can't help himself.
I genuinely can't. It's a condition. Chandlerisms.
Bingisms. Yeah. By the way, I've seen Lassoism used on a website, and I'm sure someone has said the word Tedism, but we're claiming it.
We use Tedisms all the time.
All the time.
We need to write that on a piece of paper and
we need to get in touch with that gimmick attorney fella who gets wrestlers the gimmick names.
Well, if we said it,
Jericho Esquire.
Yeah, well, that guy's kind of not a great dude. So if we want to, the way it works, I believe, is that if we said it in episode 1, that's it, unless someone can prove, because it's time stamped. Listen at me like I'm preparing for a lawsuit.
I was going to say, like, what are we going to do with that? Produce a line of merchandise that just says Tedisms on it.
I'm just saying.
No, Seth MacFarlane will come after us.
Very good. Yeah. Jay, again, impossible ask, but so instead of doing it, I'll narrow it down for you as well. What is it about this show versus the other ones that you enjoy or have enjoyed in the past? Why this one?
Football is life. I think it's just kind of like a happy mix of, obviously, as we kind of covered on with a lot of shows I watch, all the characters are very cynical and bad people, where like getting worse, whereas this is bad, maybe not so much bad people, but broken people getting fixed to a degree by Ted making them better people. Also, it just kind of ties in my love of football. It's something that I enjoy. I have enjoyed since I've been like a kid. So to have a show that's kind of based around that, and something that's very near and dear to my heart, it's very cool to see. And it's just perfectly written, isn't it? It's everything, as we've kind of said so many times, everything happens for a reason. There's from us watching it and looking out through under a microscope. There's things that happen where you just kind of like, oh shit, I didn't even realize that. And then that's like planting a seed for something that might happen like 8 or 9 episodes down the line, maybe in the following season. Even on the last episode, it was planting seeds for what might be if they did decide to do a 4th season or a spin-off. They did plenty of things to sort of sow those seeds, and it again, as the fact that we spent most of the podcast when we actually talking about Ted Lasso, talking about, well, they could do this, they could do this, they could do this. It shows that they had that in mind, like in case they were going to like revisit that universe, they had ideas, which is cool. And if they don't, then at least it leaves you with enough intrigue to ask what if and want to revisit that universe and want to go back to the show. I think for me, it'll probably be a show that I do revisit like once every now and again. Yeah. Just because it is just such a nice show to watch, and it's got the highest of highs and the lowest of lows, but it'll always bring a smile to my face.
Something I'd like to do for myself is watch an episode and then watch our corresponding episode after I watch it. To get that immediate reaction as if we'd just done it.
Can't hear your own voice. Awful.
I hear my own voice all the time.
When I hear my voice in my head, it's not what it sounds like when I hear it played back.
But you hear many voices in your head, Joe.
They talk to me.
I'm just saying. Yeah.
They talk to me.
I was going to say, yeah. Well, we tried to make this not just a review show, but something that It's not an audio commentary that replaces the audio of the show. We've done watch-alongs on the 6M podcast where we do that. This was more of a companion podcast, for lack of a better word, but also an insanely deep dive and analysis because we just didn't feel like we could. What did we all three say in the beginning? These are 30 minutes. This one be 30 minutes. No problem. And then it became 40, 45 an hour, hour and 45, 2 hours and 20, 2 hours and 30, 2 hours. And oh my God. Because like we couldn't stop because like to cut it short would be to say, well, forget, I won't talk about it. No, let's just talk about it. Yes. Absolutely.
And also, the longer it goes on, the more lore you've got to work with.
Oh, very true.
So if they do a season 4, strap in, kids, get yourself some coffee, because each episode of this will be 97 years long.
Yes.
At least 4 hours.
It'll be like the ring cycle. Yeah.
The easiest episode of the podcast was episode number 1 and the review shows. Honestly.
Genuinely, no, we were so naive back all that year ago. So
I'm telling
naive.
you.
Oh yeah, these will only be half hour. We'll knock them out the park.
Yes.
And as soon as you start, you get your diving bell on, and you're in the Ted Lasso ocean. You realize how much coral's down there for you to fiddle about in. Like, as analogies go, that was weird. I do realize.
No.
I mean, to be fair though, I think as well, like there's because obviously like you guys weren't that familiar with football. Like there's so many things.
A lot.
One of the things that we've kind of covered that I don't know because I've not listened to all the Ted Lasso podcast. I apologize if I'm selling these short. But what I don't think a lot of other ones would have covered is the kind of football background of it and why, like what the actual influence behind things on, how that actually works, what that actually means. Because a lot of it is Ted learning it, whereas it's like to kind of like validate what he's learning's right or wrong has been something that we've done that I think has made us kind of stand out as well from a lot of other kind of coverage of it.
Because when thinking about this, I don't know that I said or mentally thought, well, Jay's obviously, well, I'll throw it to him. I don't even remember why I started doing it, but I thought, I don't know. As someone who loved the show, there was still plenty of references. I had no idea what they were talking about. But if Jay's a fan, why don't we just ask him? Like, you know what I mean? Like if this show were set in the States about something you two guys were vaguely familiar with, it would be on me to fill you in, and that would be fine. But like you said, Jay, how many other shows do it? I really don't know.
I've never listened to another one, because why would I when I do this one? It's all I need.
I don't think I would either. And there could be great shows I'm missing also. But man, I don't know. I think, like I said, I think we've exhausted every avenue.
Watch your inboxes fill up now with like other Ted Lasso podcasts going, we want you on to prove to you that we know this shit.
Yeah.
That's fine. Like, it ain't a contest.
Yeah.
I said I can walk away from this with my head held high saying, I've done an all right job there, which is as good as I ever give myself.
Set the bar very low. You'll never miss it.
No, I've just got ridiculously high standards for myself. Yeah. No. Yeah, but if you listen to my stuff, it's terrible. But yeah, I genuinely, honestly think we have done the best we can do with this. Yeah, there'll be stuff we've missed. Yeah, there'll be stuff we may have misinterpreted. But I think between the three of us, the Bermuda kebab triangle that we have created tonight is an unspoken bond of trust.
Yeah. Well, look, we're not done yet. Okay. Whether season 4 happens or not, we're not done as a trio. And I would love to tackle a show we've been talking about. 2025 is around the corner. I have no need to start a new one right now because there's time next year and there's time for new it gets me. I'm such a nerd. The thought of the graphics and the music excites me. The thought of the wallpaper in the background legitimately gets me amped, and creating templates and YouTube thumbnails. I'm a ridiculous old nerd. I can't help it. I'm very excited. And plus to cover something But yeah, we're not done as a trio. As long as the two guys are ready, willing, and able, and we're all three find something we're passionate about. It may not be Ted, but it'll be something that we can add some flavor to. Maybe that's a tease. We can add some flavor to, some additional spice, whatever that looks like, and also have fun at the same time.
Bear with us.
I've already
Bear
done
with-
Ramsey's Kitchen Nightmares.
You hear what he said? That was wonderful. Bear with us. Bear with us. I'm not advocating for that show to be canceled, but if they were to come out and say we got one more and that's it, I'd be like, oh my God, we found the show, because then we know where the finish line is. Do you know what I mean? Yes.
I genuinely think the next season is the last season.
Is it for real? Because I had no idea.
I think so, yeah.
Because season 3 is kind of half of season 3, if you know what I mean.
You're right. They did split it up.
It felt like they stretched out season 3 to get another season out of it, which works both ways. If we get to it, we'll get to it. But it made me a little bit angry because the rest of it is so tight and punchy.
True. And Jeremy Allen's becoming a busy guy. He's playing Springsteen in the new biopic, by the way.
And
who's calling out for that?
Springsteen.
Springsteen's like, I'll play myself.
Yeah.
De-aged Springsteen.
Yeah.
Like
You
Jeff
can
Bridges in
de-age
Tron.
me like Robert De Niro in that film, The Irishman.
Hang on.
Irishman.
We're finally getting a Beatles biopic, and it only took
The only
30
Beatles I need
effing
to see in a
years.
film is in the Dewey Cox story, Walk Hard. That's the best representation of the Beatles in any modern media.
you need to.
When are they doing a Beatles biopic?
They announced it last year, and it's green light. It's greenlit. I don't know what they're doing today with it. Yeah, it's
They're gonna
greenlit.
be filming right by my house.
Well, here's what I'm thinking. I
Those
don't.
bastards.
How do you cram?
Jared Leto is Ringo Starr.
How do you cram? Oh God, bite your tongue. How do you cram Queen into a 2-hour movie? How in
Oh,
the
you
world?
cut out loads of stuff, mate.
Oh, that's how. There you go.
Loads of stuff.
You
Yeah.
screw it up. That's how.
And you get an editor who's been up all night, like snorting coke. I got headaches watching Bohemian Rhapsody. The editing
Yeah.
in it snaps about. Like, it should have come with a trigger warning for people who have epilepsy. It was
Well,
awful.
Is it Kevin
And-
Dunn?
It wasn't great. It wasn't great.
No, it made him look like stop motion photography.
Fuck off.
It made him look like blooming, yeah.
So,
Clash of the Titans.
If there is a Beatles film coming out, then that's probably going to have my house in it.
Right, we'll do that in the window every day.
I will,
when
mate.
the film is.
The Magical Mystery Tour bus always goes past my house. It broke down outside my house once. It was fucking hilarious.
Is that because you put one of them stinger strips outside and you were sniping?
No, I
like
didn't
in,
even plan that
Wolf
far
Creek?
ahead.
Like,
It literally it broke down, and like where the road is, it's like there's no way anything's getting through.
yeah.
So everyone was just sat there like behind it, realizing it broke down and getting more and more angry. It's like, just turn and fuck around.
Was it because the road was long and winding? I'm just curious.
It is a
Was
long
it
and
a-
winding road I live on.
Just curious.
And
There you go.
to be fair, I do genuinely live by Penny Lane.
Oh, do you really?
Penny Lane's like,
Oh, you've ruined
Penny
my
Lane's,
bit.
like legitimately like the bottom of my road.
You've ruined my. I was going to keep going. You ruined it. Well, there you have it, kids. We end as we began.
You need some
Distracted.
help.
Distracted.
I need
So,
somebody.
again, thanks to everybody who has followed, who has subscribed, who has downloaded, who has checked us out over this whole time and followed the show closely or semi-closely, whatever that looks like. We do very much appreciate your time and attention. We've had a blast doing this. I'm anxious to see what, if anything, happens with the season 4. If something happens, we're coming back for that. Okay, because we're going to complete it, whatever that looks like. And right now, it's complete today. It may not be complete 6 months from now. We shall see. And again, look for us in 2025 with our other stuff. You can find, of course, Jay on the Untitled Wrestling Podcast. You can also find Joe on Dammit, Vacant, and Hallmark of Greatness. You can find me on Tom Clark's Main Event, Tom Clark's 6M Podcast, and Tom Clark's Substack Podcast. Because who needs sleep? Thanks again, kids.
Hey, what are you doing?
Yeah, we're all busy. We're all busy boys, as you guys would say.
A week.
So again, thanks folks for tuning in. We appreciate you, and hope you've got something out of this, because we sure have enjoyed bringing it to you. And again, we gave you this show with the idea of two sets of opinions from both sides of the Atlantic. Ted, being American, went to the UK. You can do the math. You can figure it out. But if we do choose the bear, whatever show we choose, we're not going to put over the fact we're from two different sides of the world. Doesn't matter then. We're just going to talk about what we enjoy talking about. So we rode with that gimmick this time. So hopefully it clicked with you. And no matter what part of the world you're in, again, thank you so much for hanging out with us, spending your time. We appreciate it. And for now, at least for right now, for Jay and Joe, I'm Tom, and we'll see you later, kids.